And I said women's section again, it's breaking down that barrier of the traditional cricket club is, a pavilion, stuffy people. We've got the grass square, and don't go on the square, don't walk on the square. And if you're a mum sitting there watching your son play cricket, and you're hearing don't do this, don't do that, and you've got this image of what cricket's about. Whereas what we're trying to do is break that down completely and say, it's about fun. And most of our women players have never played before, and put the Flicx pitch out on the ground, just have fun. That concern or worry about it's cricket, it's very very upper class, or it's restrictive. No, it's for everybody. So I think we mentioned before, my disabled daughter, my younger daughter, my wife, all playing now in the same team. Whereas that just couldn't happen in most games. So I think the Flicx pitch opening that sort of environment, you can play more games whenever you want to. I suppose without it, with the women, we wouldn't get on a Sunday. Can't get on a Sunday game because the first second team playing a friendly, Saturday league for adults, for men. We need something like this to grow the sport, but also to change the sport, make it flexible, make it adaptable, make it fun. Go back to that and change what people think of cricket.
In my role at the foundation, and I've been here 10 years, so quite a long time, I think the growth in women's cricket's been the biggest growth I've seen, and it is through mainly what I would call non-traditional formats, so the softball formats. Yes, some ladies will progress into harder ball cricket, but actually if someone just wants to play softball and have a social good time out with their friends, then having that availability just means we've got an extra offering both as a club and as a county, and you're attracting different people into the sport. And as such, like we said earlier, that means you can then play these games on non-traditional settings. So something like a Flicx pitch, you can roll it out in a park, in a public space, on an athletics track if you wanted to, on a mugger, and you can get more people playing more cricket regularly. And as we all know, sport has a massive benefit on mental health and social inclusion. So if you look out there today, as we say, we've got lots of ladies here, lots of different ages, lots of different ethnicities. Everybody's just out there having fun, trying to whack the ball as hard as they can, and that's what, to me, cricket is all about. Actually, in my job, it's probably the number one thing I talk about with clubs is women's cricket, because there is such an appetite across the county and probably the country for women's cricket. It's a challenge to cater for it, because a lot of our grounds have been the traditional grounds are being used on Saturdays and some Sundays, so it's where and when do you play these matches. So to have the flexibility to play them at other grounds in other environments is probably key for the growth in the future. I think in my experience it really depends on the player. So I think in women's cricket particularly, there's two types of player. You have your social player who's very happy playing softball and that's all they ever want to do, and you have your ones who are wanting to improve and wanting to move into hardball. And to me, if we've got a menu that caters for everybody and everybody's wants and what they want to do, that can only be for the benefit of the game. So I think there'll be more women playing hardball cricket moving forwards, and have different facilities available to allow them to do so will definitely be beneficial.
I think what we haven't seen yet is we've got an under-16 girls team who started off playing hardball when they were 10, and they've kept at it. So what we haven't yet seen is that group of school children or girls who were inspired to play at school and then went into clubs, have now come up to the 15, 16, 17-year-olds, and then if they now continue, they may well continue with hardball. So I think there is a growth from an area that we haven't that hasn't yet reached us yet. I think also the thing about the women's cricket is that COVID, women were disproportionately affected by COVID, and therefore by having everyone realise straight away the benefit of recreation grounds. Everyone used to come walking around here, during lunch breaks, conference calls on the move, etc. And suddenly people started realising that, actually these sorts of facilities are very important. So to put down a pitch and then have a bit of a game, that's what I'm thinking is happening here. Is that people are realising, you know what, it is just a game for me. It's a bit of a fun. I can do this. It only lasts 2 hours. We have some wine at the end of it. It's all great fun. Socialise. Yeah, I think it's a no-brainer. But I do think, to your point, I think there will be a growth in hardball, but it might well come from those juniors who are now growing up having done hardball cricket at school.